everybody, and welcome back to the booking hour for our Friday Book Bites, or rather Saturday Book Bites. HG and I took a little hiatus, but we are excited to be sharing our 7th episode today, which is 3 reasons your book is not selling.
That's right. So let's jump right in. Reason number 1 is your cover. Now, hold on before you roll your eyes at what may seem obvious, but actually really isn't based on the quality of covers that plague the author community. We've all heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but the truth is everyone judges books by their covers, and no one more so than a potential reader.
Very, very true. Now, we've done a whole other show on covers, so you guys can definitely check that previous video out on the Booking Hour channel page. But real quickly, we'll just break down a few reasons your book cover isn't doing its job. And it may come as a surprise to find that it's not just poorly done work that's the problem. It's also the cover work that doesn't fill the genre, I guess, the audience that you're marketing.
Yes, and basically the cover is step 1 in securing a sale. So let's move on to step 2, the dreaded blurb. We all hate writing them. We all think they seem impossible as a writer, even though they're actually not. However, despite an author's natural aversion to the blurb, they are actually super important and can make or break a sale for you.
So think of it like this. When you go to a bookstore and are looking for a book, what's the first thing that draws you towards a particular title? The cover. Once the cover has drawn you in, you wonder, oh, what is this about? And you pick up the book, and if you're like me and like HD, you read the back cover. Now, we could do a whole show on blurbs, and actually that's not a really bad idea. We should definitely look into that. But we urge you to take some real time and craft yours, to seek the opinion of other authors and readers, and read blurbs of other books selling in your particular category.
That's right. Real quick words of advice. Try to keep the blurb short and intriguing. If you're looking at it and it's this big, blocky chunk of words, you might want to rethink your approach. So if you've got step 1, a great genre-appropriate cover, and step 2, a concise and compelling blurb, then you're almost home. In fact, if you've got these 2 things, you'll likely do pretty well with some sales. But we'd like to add a third and final factor in picking up a prospective reader, and that is the sample.
Oh, yes. The sample chapter of your ebook are the bookstore's equivalent of a reader's ability to thumb through it before actually making the purchase, which is usually on Kindle and Amazon, even on, I think, Barnes & Nobles. You can read that short, usually it's what, like 15% of the first few pages or so. If we go back to our scenario about being in the bookstore, and step 1 is being drawn in by the cover, and step 2 is walking over to the chosen book and reading the blurb, then step 3 is when you flip through the book back and read the first few lines of the actual story. If you like those first few lines, you may even read a paragraph, or then 2, and then read a page, and then a chapter, and so on and so forth. Depending on the writer's style, appeal to the reader, this is the moment when the book sales are made.
Yes, this is the metaphorical sweet spot. You've already managed to draw their eyes with your cover, despite all the other books around to be seen. Then you've won them over with the blurb, and now you seal the deal with a sample. This is the reason that the first chapter and the first lines are so very important. In fact, personally, I spend the most time crafting the first words in a novel, and usually the first chapter I write doesn't end up being the actual first chapter that the readers get. The first chapter is the one I rework the most because of the sample.
Totally. So to sum things up, if your book is not selling, there are 3 things you can look at and decide if you want to go back and make updates. And thanks to digital publishing, those updates are really easy to make now. And if you think your blurb could be stronger, rewrite it. Same thing with the first chapter or opening line.
Yes, updates are your friends, and you should always be striving toward constant improvement. Now, I'm so excited to be doing this week's author spotlight. because the author we're talking about today is one of my good friends, and I've had the pleasure of reading her books since the beginning. We kind of grew up together and are continuing to do so in our author journeys. And her name is Janelle Stalder, and her newest release is entitled Young Love.
Sounds so good. And I'm going to tell you guys, honestly, I am in love with this cover, and the blurb just sounds amazing. Again, blurb, right? Cover, blurb. So whatever Janelle's doing, it obviously works. So I'm going to read the blurb to you guys real quick. And if Young Love sounds like something you'd like, follow the link below to check it out on Amazon. It is out right now. So here we go. Blurb. Honor Jacob has a dream, and she won't stop until she achieves it. Dancing is her life, which means she has no time for men, especially not tattoo artists with hard eyes and a mouth that has her thinking things she shouldn't be. Staying as far away from Gray Anderson as possible is the solution to all her problems, except that's easier said than done. And no matter how much space she puts between them, it's never enough. He might think she's too young, and she might think he's not the one for her, but their hearts think differently. It all comes down to will and determination, and she just needs to decide which path she's destined to take.
Now, guys, I've read it. I've read Young Love. It's so good, so go check it out. And that concludes this episode of Friday Book Bites. So make sure you join us next time, and we'll discuss a new topic. And drop any questions or comments you might have in the box below.
Bye, guys.